DJDUBL.
So this is a different one for me because I've interviewed boxers before, I've interviewed rappers before, but I've never interviewed a boxer that raps as well.
I hear you. It's lit. Well, now you know what, we bring both worlds together and we're gonna have some fun.
There you go. Welcome, bro. Welcome to the channel, man. First off, got to say congratulations, Bran. You've achieved something. I think it's safe to say that every single boxer, whether they're amateur or just turned pro, no matter where it is in like their career or their hobby, getting a world title is like that's the dream.
No, it is. No, you know, winning it, in the build up to it, I was so like focused on getting a victory and it was there. But now after winning and like hearing that and I just think back and I think there was actually a time years ago it was just a dream, like, oh, I want to win a world, and everyone just says it. Yeah. But then to actually make it happen, yeah, it's amazing. Like I'm proper happy. Like. Yeah.
Does the reality live up to like the fantasy?
I'm not sure yet. Obviously the reality in the sense of now I've won that, that's with me for life. You know, my kids will be able to say my dad's a world champion, my nephews will be able to say my uncle, whatever. So that's amazing. I understand that. But in terms of maybe like the living it, it's only been a week.
Not even.
Yeah, no. And also, we're not allowed outside yet. Do you know what I mean? When we're allowed outside, I think I'll.
Of course. Yeah, I was going to ask, how did you celebrate?
I didn't actually. I mean, I had a bubble bath when I saw my mum. You know what I'm saying?
A bubble bath. Yeah.
So no, obviously after the fight, I was a bit sore. I was like, you know what? Let me just chill out and just take it in. You know, it was a big occasion. There's a lot of pressure, but I kind of, in the build-up, I just ignore the pressure. I just kind of do my thing. But then afterwards, when it's done, it's like, you feel it. Like, the aftermath, like, when you've had adrenaline, you had all this stuff, like, helping you through, and then it's gone. You're on the come down. Like, I just like to just chill, relax. I don't drink anyway, and we couldn't do a big motive or nothing because of lockdown, but I'm saving it. I just need to get another victory and then we do a mad thing.
So how's the last 12 months been? Has it been much different to normal life for you?
Yeah, it's been what's it been like? Yeah, it's been obviously I've known that I have a big fight coming. It's just the whole uncertainty of everything, lockdown and this and that. So it's been good in terms of training and staying focused. Not so good in terms of girls and stuff like that, because we're not out there the same way. So it just is what it is,
And what about the training camps? Have they been, has it been different? Or because I know you kind of go into lockdown, no girls mode anyway for the training camps, right?
Yeah, that's true. Training camps are pretty much the same. The only thing is, on the weekends, maybe not being able to go cinema or not being able to take the boys to like get something to eat or whatever. But ultimately, fortunately, athletes were allowed to, train still. So I could fly people in from other countries and get to work. So it was really business. Really business. It was good in a sense because less distractions, less stuff to distract you. So it's something I will take going forwards. But it's been an interesting one.
Being able to turn it into a win's a great feeling.
That's literally all that. It just makes it all worthwhile. All the sacrifices, all the no's, and saying. I like a lot of stuff that I can't do when I'm in training camp. So all the times I say no, I just think better be worth it.
Now you got that belt. Amazing. Where did the sauce come from?
What's actually interesting is that obviously the sauce is natural. You
got the sauce, of course.
But it's more so the actual nickname. I was literally just doing an interview early in my pro career, and I just explained how boxing is like a burger. Simple, like I said, the most important thing is the patty, which is how good you are at fighting. Yeah. But ultimately, what sells or what does this is your own individual sauce. And then everyone in the room was like, sauce? And then next thing was on my shorts, and then we've gone with it.
I'm always interested how boxers come up with like their monikers.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10 it's just given to them. Because a lot of times if you come up with one yourself, it's like anything, people don't want to give it to you. You know what I mean? The fucking wrecking machine is just like, are you a wrecking machine? You know what I mean?
Are you yet? Nah, you're not there yet. The story that I've read about you, the story goes that you were quite overweight as a kid. Yeah. Saw the doctors because you had problems with your legs, right? And then he pinned that back to the fact that you were overweight. How heavy were you at your heaviest before boxing?
120 something kilos. I don't know what that is in stock. I always get that mixed up, but it's maybe 19 kilos. Or something.
And what age was that?
17. But I mean, obviously I was big throughout my whole life, do you know what I mean? And then 17 is when I started making a sort of change.
Right, okay. So what was it that drew you to boxing specifically for the weight loss?
To be honest, I tried a lot of other sports, football, basketball, because I was tall, tried basketball, but I just wasn't good, you know what I mean? And in team sports, you're not allowed to just not be good, do you know what I mean? They're just, they're not gonna pick you and whatever else, and it just wasn't fun, you know, missing shots, just shit, no, whatever.
I can relate, bro, don't worry.
Yeah, well, so I was just like, wasn't great. But then with boxing, obviously I had a lot of street fights, not that they're the same, but people relate them the same, do you know what I mean? So I had a lot of street fights. And one day there was actually a boxer who saw one of my fights, and he was in my secondary school or sixth form, whatever. He's like, bro, I've been since young, I've been seeing you come to the boxing gym, just give it a go. Do you know what I mean? So then I was just like, I'm in an RM. He's like, mate, it's good for weight loss, whatever. So I went, and then the first day I went in, it felt different from other sports.
Yeah.
So it's like, for example, I was very lazy. I can be, now I'm not lazy, I can say I was lazy then. Do you know what I mean? So it's a case of like, if they say do 10 push-ups at my own time in the gym or anything, I'll, you know, get 4 or 5, I feel a bit tired, you know what, I've done enough. There's enough people around scattered, you can get away with it.
Yeah.
But in boxing, it's like, not only am I held accountable in the sense of if I don't do the training, I'll get beat up, but it's the sense of other boxers are around and they care. So when I'm doing, if I do 5 and I try to stop, someone else is counting theirs and mine. Well, you only did 5, do the other 5. And I'm scared, there's all these boxers around, okay, cool. So I did it, and then that's just that exercise. Then the next exercise is the same thing. So the kind of energy around boxing kind of suited getting me on it. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then I loved that first session. I said, cool, I'll come again. And that was it.
You mentioned the street fights, and another thing I read was that you were bullied quite a lot when you were younger. Yeah. So was the bullying in relation to your weight?
Yeah, no, it was a relation to the weight, and also one of my African names is Ikechukwu, and you know, especially when you're younger, well, when I was younger, people didn't really understand like the culture differences with names and stuff, so just all together, just kind of, came together to make it that.
Right. What kind of school did you go to?
I went to it's a good school in my opinion. It's a normal school, wasn't private or anything, but it was in Hackney, and yeah, it was. Like I said, I like it now. I think back and say it was very multicultural, you know, they had a lot of arts and media and stuff like that, so it was very good. Yeah, no, it was good, I'll be real.
Because the only reason I asked that is because you mentioned him being bullied for your African name. Yeah. Were you like one of very few African kids at the school?
I think also, like my name was harder to say than maybe another African name. Right, okay. And also, yeah, there wasn't, in the secondary school, there was a lot more, but most people didn't use the African names at this time. So I've got like Lawrence as my first name. So someone else might use, you know, their other first name, but I was using Ikechukwu. So I think that kind of pushed towards it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay, I got you, man. So going through the street fights and before you got into boxing, and growing up in Hackney, which is notoriously, I guess back then it was kind of a rough area anyway. What stopped you from going down like a darker path with your route and getting more into like crime and more what we hear like the traditional or like, you know, like the cliche upbringing in like a London borough?
Yeah, I'm gonna say it's my mum. I'll be real with you. I think she was like very strict, and she, you know, obviously she had 2 big boys, you know what I mean, like we're both big in size as well, but she still managed to, you know, keep control. So that was I'm gonna say it's really down to my mum. She was strict, but not to the point where it was like, I need to rebel. It was just, you know, I don't think that's a good idea. I'm gonna say no. And, you know, I just always respected her. And, you know, now that I'm older, I can look back and say all those times I was angry, throwing stuff in my room, like the pillow and hitting it because I'm not allowed to go to this party here or stay out that late. I can see now the benefit of that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say my mum.
So you're in the amateur boxing club, and now it gets to 2012, and you see the Olympics, Anthony Joshua winning gold. Literally the next Olympic cycle, you're up there as well. Yeah. That's fast.
It is, yeah.
Like, explain the path from, in terms of boxing, like how you were able to get into that Olympic cycle so quick.
So, to be honest, it's actually it was really a year. So I stopped working in McDonald's and stuff in 2012, and then I just started focusing on amateur, like boxing. So every day training, every day. Yeah, I was just going around. I did like a university championship, got a gold in that. So little tournaments, but it was very hard to get fights because I was in a weight class. There wasn't that many people from all over. So I just stayed training in the gyms.
What weight were you there?
I was 91 kilos, so the same as I am now. And so I'm training, whatever. And then so I started sparring AJ live. So obviously I met him, started sparring in like the end of 2014, start of 2015. And so these times I had 15 fights, whatever. And, you know, I was doing that 8-round sparring with him, just going all in, whatever. And people around are people that I know through TV and stuff in boxing. And they're like every time I go to the gym, it'll be the same thing. Like when I'm about to spar AJ, you here to spar AJ? Yeah, like, good luck. Do you know what I mean? And all this.
Yeah.
And then every time I'd finish, it'd be like, oh, you did well, like, do you know what I mean? Okay, like, who are you? And they all thought that I'd be some pro or anything. Then one day, someone who was a sort of semi-scout, you'd say, happened to just be there. And he saw me. Afterwards, he asked, how old are you? I told him, I can't remember how old I was at the time. And he's like, oh, okay, how many pro fights? I said, oh, I'm still amateur. He's like, yeah, amateur. now all of a sudden he's super interested. He's like, how many fights? I said, I've had like 14. 14, like as in that night is so low.
Yeah, you had a relatively short amateur career, right?
Exactly. So that's 14 with the amount of rounds I'm doing with AJ, with other people. Do you know what I mean? So they're in shot and they're like, mate, like we need to get you up to have an assessment for the GB team. So then I went up, had an assessment during the summer, and I was fortunate enough to get on the team near the end of the year, 2015.
Right.
And then when I went up, you know, there's a few people that got on and they were like, the Olympics is 2016, but that's not for you guys, okay? You guys just got on the team. We're looking at 2020 for you guys, you know?
Right.
And I was in the room and I remember saying, like, out loud, whatever, like, is there like no way we can, you know, gate crash or go to 2016? Like, you know what? There's always one. And I was just like, I'm that one. You know, I'm sure everyone said it, but I generally was like, yeah. I was looking around the room saying, yeah, it's me. Did it. So then from there, I just like, just any fight they said, I was going. I was just on it, because I was just saying, I'm not waiting to 22, I'm going to this one. And then I went to the Olympic qualifiers in Europe and won a gold medal, and then that was me going to Olympics. Like,
there you go. I love the fact that you questioned them as well.
Yeah.
Like, you guys have to wait till 2020. Most people be like, oh, okay, you know best. Like,
Nah.
Love that. Tell me about your relationship with AJ then. So you met, obviously you just explained, you met pre-Olympics.
Yeah. So yeah, with me and AJ, we met pre-Olympics, and I just remember I was always a fan, you know what I mean? He was Olympic gold medalist, pro, you know, headlining shows, beating Dylan. I was just a fan. But through the sparring, we started getting, like, I was actually shocked personally because I'm there just happy to be there, happy to get the experience. And then, like, you know, I'm like, follow me on Insta. I asked him twice, he never followed me. So I stopped asking him, do you know what I mean? So like, saying that and I'm here to work, whatever.
Yeah.
I wasn't too much like taking pictures every time and I like doing all that. I was just, okay, cool. I'm here to do a job, get my experience, whatever. And then one day I'm seeing, okay, AJ started following me on Snapchat, thinking, nah, it's not like him, is it? Been going, it's him. Okay, cool. Then it's like, oh yeah, my boy's having a birthday thing, you should come. I'm like, wait, are me and AJ friends? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Then I brought some of my boys, we went, and then we just all got vibes, and like also obviously my boys, these boys, everyone all became cool, me and him come cool, and then from there, the thing I liked about him is that even though he was rich and doing whatever, even at that stage, it's like he still had time to just be like, this is a little bit of advice. This is what I did here. This is like, think about it. It's up to you, but this is what I did. And then, you know.
And that's career advice, is he giving you, like?
Career, yeah, because he's got, like, obviously I have my own style of fighting here. But in terms of like, I wouldn't turn pro yet, or I'll try go to, you know what I mean? Little bits. So it's up to me to go and make it happen, but it's good because when you've got someone who's doing it or done it, and doing it for me is better than done it, because when you're doing it, it's relevant information as it's live. You know, somebody's done it 20 years ago, the landscape is different. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, cool, yeah, I seen you do that, and I see that. Do you know what I mean? So it was sick.
Did you ever feel conscious or aware about signing to an active boxer who effectively shares the same ambitions as you?
Yeah, I'm not really, because he's heavier than me, and secondly, the way I kind of saw it is that I would never need to fight him, you know. So as long as those there's no conflict in that way, I'm easy, you know. I just feel like obviously I've managed to become a world champion and do stuff in my own right, but I felt like especially early on, having that sort of cosign goes a long way. Until you obviously create your own lane. Right. So I never really was conscious, and also it was like, you know, it's like year by year sort of thing. So I always felt like if it wasn't working, I'd be able to go. But it's been, you know, working well. So I've been enjoying. And
I guess at that stage it's kind of a no-brainer, really.
Yeah, literally.
Like, should I sign to him? Maybe. Yeah, okay. Do you have any pre-fight rituals?
I used to early on, but I said I'm gonna stop doing any rituals, because in case you can't do it, I don't want to feel freaked out. But I used to just put on the whole kit the night before, do a couple rounds moving around. That's really about it. The only thing I do now is probably pray before I leave the changing room and before I leave the hotel room or wherever I'm staying, and yeah, that's it.
How about abstaining?
How about it?
How about it? That's what I'm always interested. There's the rumours, and I don't know how backed up by science it is, because I haven't really.
I've done research, trust me.
And okay, so you leave the girls out pre-fight.
Yeah.
How far in advance?
It depends how you're feeling and how tempting the potential woman is. Do you know what I'm saying? So I feel like, you know, I try to push for like 6 weeks fight, but sometimes longer, but nah, I say that's a lie. 6 weeks probably the longest I've managed to do. But then, you know, sometimes, you know, now obviously there's more at stake, but you know, there's been times you slip up, you know what I'm saying? But
so you've slipped up then?
Oh, I slipped up, but I've still managed to win, which is always good. But I think definitely, for me personally, it does affect you, because I think, I don't know, I can't tell you the science. I've researched it to make sure that in case I slip up, I can tell myself it's all right.
Yeah, it's just a myth. It's just, they're lying.
But I would say, I feel like it's like, obviously it's quite a hungry and like gritty sport. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, if you feel, what's the right word to use? Released, or I don't know what the right, you know, you feel like sometimes it makes you kind of feel happy already. So like, I remember one time I had a fight, and obviously I'd, you know, done whatever the night before on I say
the night before the
night
fight,
before it was accident. I say accident, but I was like, you know what, we'll do whatever.
Once when it accidentally happens, it's the worst.
But it's like, no, it's like, alright, cool. We'll do it for like a little bit. I'm not gonna go all the way, and cool. You get yours, whatever. Then I'd already been waiting for so long. One thing led to another. And, you know, them 3 minutes didn't go 3 minutes. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is.
Knocked out in the first round.
Yeah, literally that. And I was like, after apologising, I started thinking to myself, you know what, shit. I just, you know, done this before the fight, whatever. But then I remember going to the venue and just being like, that's good, you know. Like, win, lose or draw, you're happy. And that's what's going on. Obviously, I wanted to win as a competitor, but it wasn't like that same, like, eye of the title. It was just quite like,
you let the warrior spirit out, bro. That's what it was.
And that's what I think, why I think abstinence is good.
It's a really difficult thing. Like, as a man, it's a difficult thing to put into words, isn't it? How to describe what it is, but it's like holding on to, I've heard it called like the life force before. And it's like, I think that's probably the best way.
I think so as well. But yeah, afterwards though, you know, is what it is.
And like you say, now there's more at stake.
Exactly.
And I guess because you've been through that in the past, you kind of know, like, that mentality just before a fight is not the one.
That's
especially when there's now proper titles
exactly
on the line. So, yeah. Do you use or look at social media much leading up to a fight?
Yeah, obviously I mainly run my social media, but I don't really read comments and stuff anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think it's important to, you know, interact to a certain extent. Yeah. Because I've got family and friends on there as well. But I feel like definitely social media is not something I really let get to me. Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, when I think about it, because I've given so much advice to people, I've had to take it myself, you know. Oh, don't worry about that. Yeah, you know what I mean? So now when it happens to me, it's like, oh, okay, you know what? Don't worry about it. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely am on it, but I'm not really invested. But when we get to that fight week, I might delete it just because, you know, you never know what someone might say and how it might affect you. Yeah. You know, until that message. And then, like, for example, for my last fight, Actually, I might not say in case someone else tries it, but yeah, it's interesting. You know what I'm saying?
It's the mind games, isn't it?
Yeah,
but
trust.
No, I know what you mean, because obviously, like, there's so many different podcasts and online commentators now everywhere.
Yeah.
And so someone might just say one thing about, oh yeah, but you know,
he
hasn't gone all the way in a fight yet, and so you might suddenly get to like round 6 and think, oh, you know what, I haven't actually gone all the way in.
And that's an important one. So it's all about that. You have to be sure within yourself. Because I remember even before my last one, I was there chilling, just having a little relaxing bath, you know, before bed.
Nice bubble bath.
Yeah, literally, you know, I've done all the hard work. Let me just chill. It's just fun now. Let's just go out there and do our thing. And then like my name pops up in some YouTuber that I follow, because as a fan of boxing, who talks about boxing.
Yeah.
It's from America. It's had my name. I said, okay. I watched it thinking he must be bigging me up, whatever. No. This guy, the opposite. When that's not the opposite, like so far the other side, like this guy is this and that and and I'm thinking, what? Like, so I just remember I just messaged underneath like, and you know, I couldn't turn it off. I don't know why. I was just so into it. I was just like, wow. And you said, and I'm thinking, how much of it is like, do I agree with? How much do I disagree with? And I just remember I just commented underneath, just nothing too much. I just said, I'll show you tomorrow. Boom, and left it. And then then I showed him. The next day, I obviously won the belt, and then on Sky, like I did a whole, I just mentioned, I said, by the way, there was a YouTuber that said I can't do it, blah blah blah. I said his name, whatever. I don't want to say it again.
No,
but,
don't give him the attention.
Yeah,
bro.
trust. But
unsubscribe as well. Come off his channel, bro. Like.
So then I was just like, yeah, bruv. And then obviously, the YouTube community loved that. Do you know what I mean? Because he does a lot of talking and whatever. Yeah. But obviously, for me, that's what I'm saying. That's another lesson learned. Okay, don't watch stuff now, because social media is one thing. YouTube's another.
Yeah.
So just, you know what? Just leave it all alone and just focus on the actual fighting, you know?
Yeah. Like, as a fighter, your style's been criticised because people have said, like, your fights lack excitement and things like that. Those kind of comments, do they ever put you in a place where you consider, like, taking risks or try changing your style to kind of show them, well, actually, no, look, it can be exciting? Like,
not really. You know, I feel like I always look at stuff in the sense of how do I feel about myself, more so than that. And you know, if there's stuff I need to work on, that's what I'm gonna do. You know, in terms of like my style, it's a winning style. I enjoy being world champion. I enjoy being European, Commonwealth, British. You know, all the stuff I've won. So it's like, with me, I always believe that no matter what anyone says, it's about how you look at yourself. And secondly, and more importantly than that, it's about results. Yeah. So you get where I'm coming from. So ultimately, now if you check all of the same thing, everyone will say I'm the best. So you get where I'm coming from, because I've stuck and believed in myself. So that's where it is. Yeah,
I find like with boxing especially, I kind of differentiate them. There's the people that will watch a real hyped match that goes the distance, and they're like, oh, it was shit because no one got knocked out. And they're knockout fans. That's what they are. But the boxing fans, like, that was a great fight. Like, he fought cleverly. He didn't knock him out, but he stayed outside the whole time. Do you know what I mean? So they're the two different types of fans, definitely. Which opponent has taught you the most valuable lesson?
Probably my last one. Because although you know, he didn't land many punches and stuff like that, it's more so, you know, he was doing little stuff in there that I was picking up and adding to my game. And also even just in terms of like what I was able to do. So I was very much focused on performance in my last fight. You know, all I was the belt and this is all lit. But I was really focused on getting my shots off, you know, maintaining the distance, little bits and bobs. So that is the most I learned about myself. And even just as an opponent, the little twitches and stuff he was doing, I was picking up as the rounds were going on, so it was good.
Yeah, little tells before he was going to throw things. Yeah. Now that you're the world champ, do you have much say over who you fight next, or is it like a decision that management take to kind of foresee the career path, or like where the biggest purse is? Like, what's the next stage for choosing the next opponent? So obviously with me, I always say I want the next step.
So for me, I've already told them what I want, which is a unification.
Okay.
So they're out there now, you know, beginning negotiations with all of the champions to see which one comes up with the best deal. Right. For me, I'm not that fast about which one. I just want another belt, you know.
Okay. At cruiserweight.
At cruiserweight, yeah. And then the only issues that I have are mandatory, you have to box them, otherwise you have to give up the title. So right now we're just juggling everything. It's only been a week. But within the next week or two, it will make sense, and I'll be able to go from there.
For me, boxing seems like a sport where I don't see racism in boxing, but with that said, I'm talking from the perspective of a white man. I wanted to get your angle on it, like, because it's something that appeals to, like, let's just say, like, a lot of working class white men are huge fans. Yeah. It's like a pub sport. Do you see what I mean? So from your perspective, can you tell me about any experiences, or if you've experienced it, in terms of from opponents, from fans, like inside the industry? What's your take on it?
Funny enough, if I did, I would actually be very like open and thing about it. But I haven't actually, in terms of boxing, experienced it overtly. I can't even. It's hard to tell, innit? Like, do you know what I mean? Whether it's undercover or not. Like, is that why they're saying I'm shit? I don't know. Maybe because it was shit.
Right. Yeah.
But ultimately, like, I haven't actually felt anything directly. Do you get where I'm coming from? So it'll be a lie basically if I said I had.
With football, you see reports every week. The black players being abused by the fans and whatnot, and it occurred to me like it was something I've never.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with boxing. Maybe obviously the fans, as much as they have their opinions, they respect the fact that they're risking it all on the. I don't know, but not even a DM, like not even a DM with anything. So it's been cool. It's been cool. Right?
That's good. How do you feel about YouTubers getting into boxing, and in particular challenging like real life champions?
YouTubers getting into boxing, sick. I think it's very good. I won't lie, because it brings a lot more attention to the sport and whatever else. And ultimately, as long as they're training and putting in good performances and not like, embarrassing themselves in the sport, calm. I'm all for it. In terms of challenging champions, I think it's very dangerous. Because obviously a champion's trained their whole life. Not a camp. So hopefully we never see like a YouTuber get in there with someone like that, because they could, some serious damage could happen.
Yeah. So something I always ask musicians, or rappers in particular, is something I call the ultimate collaboration. So like who they'd most like to do a track with. But when it comes to boxers, I like to switch the question a bit. I mean, like, who would you least like to be in a ring with?
Good one.
One fighter, dead or alive, throughout time that you definitely would not take a fight with.
Probably Mike Tyson.
Okay.
No, definitely Mike Tyson. Yeah, it'll be a hard night's work, to cut the long story short. From what I've seen anyway and studied of him, it's just that, like, it's very hard to create what he was. Yeah. Like, as in, you can watch him all day, every day, but I think a lot of it was down to just how he was brought up. It's be very hard to recreate someone with the mindset and savagery of Tyson, do you know what I mean? But he was in there, you or me, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And for me, I enjoy people who are a bit more, they can be as aggressive as you like, but they have a little bit more fear, do you know what I mean? Because obviously I'm a big puncher, so I enjoy hitting someone and then them saying, okay, let's slow down together, do you know what I mean? But with him, it's just like, he seems like you hit him, he's coming to get his back, do you know what I mean? So it's good, like.
And you've got long arms as well, so I guess like you prefer fighting on the outside, because you can keep them 3 meters away with your reach.
Exactly. But Mike Tyson, dangerous, you know what I'm saying?
You've sparred AJ, you've been a partner for Fury as well.
Yeah.
I'm going to put you in that real awkward position, bro.
Awkward.
It's not awkward.
You already know where I'm going.
AJ, yeah?
Yeah, come on.
It's going to be like fight of the year if they manage to get the date and the venue locked. Then, do you think you'll fight on the undercard? Is that a discussion?
Very light. It depends when it is. So we spoke about it before this fight. I'm not in great detail, because obviously you have to make sure that you're winning. Do you know what I mean? But now that I've won, it is in talks. But it really depends on when theirs is going to. I won't wait for it. Do you know what I mean? But if it's a couple weeks out from when I would like to fight, cool, I'll go for it.
So, a really interesting thing that I've been thinking for the longest time about boxing is, my take on it is that if boxing was taught in the curriculums in school, it would reduce knife crime, basically, because a lot of the kids are running around with knives because they can't fight each other and they're scared of getting jumped. What's your take on whether or not boxing should be taught in schools?
I think it's. I mean, I've gone to schools where it is taught. There's Boxing Academy in Hackney. There's Box Up Crime where it's taught outside. There's like free classes for kids. And for me, I see nothing but positive results from it. It gives a sense of confidence where you don't feel like you need a knife, or you feel like you don't even need confrontation. because you're so sure within yourself, you know. I think it's really, really good for fitness as well. And, you know, of course, you know, there's going to be the negative connotations that might come, you know, with some people might see it as violence, but really and truly it's control, you know.
Discipline.
And discipline, you know, to say no to women, alcohol, blah, blah, blah. It takes a lot of discipline, and that comes from the sport. So I think it's something that should be considered.
People who've never been in the ring will never understand this. When you spar with someone, there's that certain bond.
Yeah, 100%.
And like coming out of the ring, it's like, oh, that was when you caught me with that. Like that was sick. Like my nose is bleeding, but you know what? That was a sick. And I feel like that would definitely help in terms of even like getting into street scraps. Yeah. Well, that's settled then. You beat me. Like, all right, we scrapped and you done me. Like, good job.
No, and that's happened to me in my life, you know.
Right.
I've had fights with people and become good friends with them afterwards, you know. Same with boxing. Definitely, man. You know, I think it's one of the age-old things, you know. Generations, we don't even know. Yeah. Let's fight. Do you know what I mean? Hand to hand, let's fight, get it done, dust off, handshake, keep it moving. So it is, I think, I'm not saying you should, you know, solve everything with violence, but if you're going to do violence, better hand to hand in a safe, controlled environment where at the end you can, you know, respect each other a little bit more. Yeah.
Let's move on to the music now. Yeah. Given that you're a professional boxer and now you're dipping your toes into UK rap, they are two of the most brutal fan bases when it comes to comments. It's like you're a glutton for punishment, bro. Like,
I love it.
How thick-skinned are you then, or do you like? I mean, you mentioned earlier you kind of keep away from the comments, but is that the same in the music side?
Yeah, that's seven. You know, it is. It's like I don't know how to explain it. So it's like, for example, in boxing, you say you can take a good punch, but it's better if you don't take the punches. You know what I mean? So the same thing with that. It's like I can read a comment or whatever, and I'll be able to take it and keep it moving. As long as I listen to myself and I'm happy, and the people around me, even if they're lying, are like, yo, then we're gonna have a good time. Do you know what I'm saying? But in terms of comments and stuff, I always know that it's very fickle and stuff. Do you know what I mean? And today it's this, tomorrow it's that, and today you could be this guy is the best ever. Tomorrow you could be the worst, or today you're the worst, tomorrow you're the best. So I don't really give it too much stock. I'm enjoying, and that's it.
Is that how you're making the music then? You're just jumping in and like, what do I want to hear today? What do I want to make? There's no one to please, just making music you want to make.
Quite simply, do you know what I mean? I don't have, like, obviously, to be honest, I could even pay the, you know, top artists to do and make whatever I want to make. Do you know what I'm saying? However, there's a certain way that I like to rap and, you know, stuff that I like to talk about, and I just feel like I can do it. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, without being funny, even just like making a video, I don't need like, you know, I don't know how to explain it, but you know, for example, like I don't even need to sell or I don't know, I don't need to make money from music. Do you get where I'm coming from? So I don't need to make anything that anyone else is gonna like, because ultimately I'm doing it because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy looking at my video and listening to my song as I'm training and walking out. I enjoy those things, so I will do that.
Yeah, if YouTubers can box, boxers can rap.
Get it? Like, rappers can box, it's sick. Like, do you know what I mean? Just do what you want. Yeah,
I read that you like to sit in on studio sessions. It's kind of like, I don't know whether to call it a hobby or not. Is it a hobby?
I would say it's a hobby. You know what I mean? Obviously, like I said, I'm not doing it to become paid. Like, do you know what I'm saying? I mean, money's always nice, but that is what it is. But I enjoy it because it's like, for example, outside of training, it's like, everyone sees the fight night and thinks it's the most amazing thing, you know what I mean? Oh, you're on TV, you're just like, but ultimately every day is very hard in training. Like, you know what I mean? Every day is very, very hard. A lot of discipline and a lot of pressure, do you know what I mean, to go out there and perform. So in the times off, like, if I'm not going studio, all I do is play PlayStation. Do you know what I mean? So it's a nice little extra thing to do. I've been in the studio for some actual hits, like, do you know what I mean? I've come out and it's been sick to just see that side and then see it when it's released. So you can come from, been behind to see how videos are made, and then when it's released and seeing the reaction. So it's sick, like. Yeah,
even just like the stabs and the ad libs and stuff. Yeah, I mean, seeing how different artists work, and it's
the ad libs are the funniest part. The ad libs, they're the fun, because obviously you see someone rapping going in, just another or whatever, and your vibes in. But when it comes to ad libs, if you just walk in on that, it's the most like crazy thing.
They're just in there like,
trust, and just this shit.
Like, yeah. Right. Are there any established rappers in your like circle of friends? And I mean like friends, not just people you're cool with or you might just see out and about, like actual friends.
Yeah, I say that there's a few. Obviously, there's a lot of ones that there's respect there, and you know you follow each other and you can chat on whatever. But until I mean, like someone like Big Toe is probably my like you say best friend in music. Do you know from? That would be known. He's someone that like comes to my house all the time. Like we do stuff outside of music. Do you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
So how far do you want to go with the music? Like if the songs start to take off, is it something that you're like, yeah, you know what? Let's do club shows. Let's do whatever. Let's do a festival stage. How far?
I'm extremely competitive. I didn't realise.
I didn't get that from you.
But I feel like in terms of boxing, I get it. But I did not realise I was competitive until probably this year. Because obviously in the build up to the fight, it's completely unrelated. But it's like obviously this thing here, like does your sleep, does your this and another, and I'm in a group with other boxers, and it's like training wise, no one can't chat to me. Like no one can't chat to me in terms of like how many sessions I can get in, how much calories I can burn in a day.
Yeah.
That's why obviously I'm world champion. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of competitiveness, I realised there was a problem. Not a problem. There was a competitive streak in me. Is when the app now starts showing your sleep. So now when you start doing research into getting to sleep for longer, that's when you know that you're competitive. So now I'm not just competing in the gym, I'm competing in how much sleep I can get. Yeah. So now I'm there, bed extra early, lights off, I'm doing it all, whatever it takes. In terms of music, obviously hobby, fun, whatever. But at the same time, I think to myself, and I want to do a couple things. You know what I'm saying? I want to do a couple things. How far we can go? I think all the way, personally, even though it's not my.
Define what is all the way?
That's a great question. Let's think. A festival show, I don't see why not. I have a few stuff I want to take off my checklist. One of those is 1 million views on like a video. I think my one right now is on like 500,000 on my first video. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's been less than a month. But I want the next one to just get to 1 million. Probably in a month, that'd be nice. Do you know what I mean? Don't want to put too much pressure on times. That'd be a good one, just because it's like I wasn't meant to be a rapper. Do you get where I'm coming from? But I decided I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
So I like that. Maybe like a high profile collab or two, do you know what I mean? Without having to pay for it. That would also be nice. A festival show would be good. I want that one picture. So I get the pictures in boxing where I'm there walking and there's a crowd. But I want to be able to do a slide where it's like, you know what? This is me winning a fight with the whole crowd. Here's me performing with the crowd.
Yeah.
What else? Maybe giving a lecture or something to do in my book with a crowd. Do you know what I mean? And just show like different fields where, you know, I'm doing my thing.
Multifaceted.
Yeah.
The thing about boxing and rapping is I feel like the lifestyles are polar opposites.
Yeah, 100%.
Because like you said, with boxing, you're in competition with the other guys to how much sleep you can get. Whereas the rappers are bragging about never going to sleep and living in the studio. Yeah. Like, they're polar opposites. So you're gonna, I mean, obviously like boxing's that's the career and that's the priority, right? So it's not.
So for me, it's quite simply the rap and all the other stuff, acting, it's around the boxing. Do you get where I'm coming from? However, I feel like if you do stuff smart, there's enough time in the day to do everything. Do you know what I mean? If I go in and just say, you know what, instead of making 100 songs, I'm gonna work on my craft in terms of music, because there's lots of stuff I need to get better at. I've only really just started, you know, getting comfortable going studio. Also, because I don't drink. And this, that, and other. There's a certain vibe.
That's another thing.
You get it?
You can't be a rapper.
Yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Exactly. So it's like I had to really build up confidence in the studio. Do you get where I come from? You know, the first time I went, I was there like, okay, you know, before my first and then it's like, it's good to have people that know what they're doing, and then I don't feel like I'm being judged in that environment, because I'm still learning. Do you know what I mean? So for example, the stuff I can talk about is lit, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm a champion boxer. I can go on holiday. I can do this and, you know, all these other things, and it's legit. So it's like I don't need to hide my money trail or anything like that, because it's legal. But delivering that is a whole other thing. So I could say, I've got this watch and I can do this and that with holiday or girl or whatever. But then as I'm delivering it, initially it's just like, we don't believe you. Like, it just doesn't, like, that's why it's good to have good engineer, like good people in the studio, where it's like, bro, say that with your chest. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, brag about it.
Yeah, literally, if you're gonna talk about it, if you're gonna say it, and we know it's true, we've seen this, we've seen worse, but you gotta deliver it in that way. But for me, slightly competitive, no, very competitive. So I would like to do
extremely competitive.
Yeah, to be honest, you know what? I want to be #1 now. I've decided. You know what? You're right.
Everybody else is dead. Yeah. You know what? We could pull the boxing tactic now. Call some rappers out, bro.
Literally. I just need to work a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but TKO is good though, because for a first track.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to downplay it at all, actually, and even say like it's good for a first track. It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's a catchy song. Like from when I heard it, I have a different process to most people. Like, I listen to a lot of my music in the car.
Yeah.
So I'll get sent stuff, and I just chuck it on the laptop. Laptop's in the auxiliary lead, and I just drive. So I don't know who I'm listening to. It just comes on.
Yeah, I hear you.
And then this one came on. I was like,
okay.
I don't know this guy's voice. Like, who is this? And then even when I saw your name, I didn't, because I'm not watching the video. I didn't put your name to the song. I was like, I haven't heard of this guy yet. Like, why haven't I heard of this guy? And I've been sent his song, so someone knows about him. And then looking into it, I was like, okay, actually that's sick. I like the chat. I like the video as well.
Yeah, thanks. And that's the thing. For me, like that one, even bringing it out, that was one of the very early ones that I made in the studio. I think that might be my second actual full song. Do you get where I come from? So that's why I made the video, because even though I felt like I had better stuff in the pipeline, I was just like, that one's the baby. Do you know what I'm saying? That one's that. I don't really care. And like I said, even though I felt like I have stronger songs, everyone's like, come out with this one and that one. I'm just like, I just kind of do what I want. Do you know where I'm coming from? And that's it. And the video as well, it's like, the blessing is, without going overboard, I can pay for a video, go to Dubai and whatever else. So I'm gonna do it, you know what I mean?
So here's the rapper version of the question then. Yeah. Ultimate collaboration, dead or alive.
Oh, dead or alive, wow.
Anyone ever on the track, who's it gonna be?
Because I would say Biggie, obviously, because you said dead or alive. Biggie, definitely. I think he's probably one of the most talented in terms of like putting together multiple skills. Then you got Drake, obviously. Do you know what I mean? And then I would say probably Burna Boy. And then if you're talking UK, probably D-Block and Fredo.
Nice. That's a good
Sorry, look, I know it's bad, but that's the album.
That's the album there. No, I like that. Dope. So, you mentioned you're about to release a book.
Yeah.
So it's called Dare to Change Your Life.
Yes, it is.
You're still young. You're still in your 20s. So I'm like, what can the book be about? Because I feel like it's too early for like a biography.
Yeah, correct.
And you only just became the world champion, correct. So it can't be about the journey to world championship because it's already been written. So tell me about the book. The book,
how that's it. So I actually never had the idea of writing a book. Do you know what I mean? But obviously I did interviews quite like this, and Fern Cotton was involved, and she saw and heard, and she reached out to me and my team, and she was just like, mate, your story is so inspirational. As in, cool, for me, I have bigger goals than the one I've just achieved of being a world champion. But to how she said it is like, you've gone from being bullied, overweight, to losing weight, full of confidence, Olympian, British, Commonwealth, European champion. Of course, you have your own goals, but this is so much that you could literally just share some of those experiences, share some of those mindsets to help someone. I'm sure you would have wanted to read a book or something like this with someone quite as relatable and like as yourself. And like, I almost felt selfish with the mindset of like, I haven't done this and that. It's, you know what, I'm going to talk about it. Do you know what I mean? What we've got to here, and I'm not going to put pressure on the fighting or the rap or whatever. It's just, here is what I did, and that's what I'm going to give to you. So it's from the feedback I'm getting, I'm happy that my experiences and mindsets can help people. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Obviously, it's not out for the public until April the 8th, but you know, the people that have, you know, read the pre-scripts and everything like that, they're good. So I'm just hoping, you know, in the next year, 10 years, 20, whenever someone says, you know what, Lawrence, like, I read your book and then it did this for me and that for me. Do you know what I mean? It might not be my book that causes the change, but what I believe is that there's someone out there who's going to know how to cure cancer. There's someone out there who's going to know how to create the next Netflix or the next Apple or the next something. Yeah. But they might just be too scared to take that step or not want to take that risk. Do you know what I mean? And then they end up doing something else and then it never happens. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So for me, any chance of that happening, because I want another Apple. Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'll do my bit.
You might unlock the greatness in
I hope so. I'm not going to lie, my own competitive.
Yeah.
You know it. I hope someone comes in the next 10 years and says, you know what, Lawrence Okolie, I read your book, like,
yeah.
I did it.
So if in 10 years' time, you're Cruiserweight World Champion,
yeah,
and then you get it handed to you, you get yourself handed to that in the ring, and they defeat you, and in their speech right after, where they've got all of the belts and they've unified, and they're like, well, I read this book 10 years ago from this guy.
Hilarious. You know what? I can't anticipate myself losing in a boxing ring, but what I would say in that scenario is, if you're reading the book to be a competitive mind, don't do it. The book's not for you. Do you know what I mean? Outside of that, I hope you're going to achieve your dreams.
Don't cover it. If you're going to be a boxer, don't worry about the book. It's not for you. So the last thing I want to know is, what would you tell a younger you?
Everything's going to be all right. You're lit. Do you know what I'm saying? That would be it. And also just believe in yourself. Obviously, I managed to get to that point, but what I'll tell you to myself or anyone else is that once you really believe in yourself, anything's possible, because that belief sparks so many different things. So that belief sparks accountability. If you don't believe you're going to get somewhere, you're not going to hold yourself accountable. You're not going to do your extra runs in this because you don't feel like you're going to get there. So it's a waste of time and energy. But once you believe, everything else sprouts off that. That's the centerpiece, and all the other stuff comes. So just, you can do it.
Good advice. You know what you should have said? You should have said the answer to that question is in the book. Come in on April 8th. But yeah, Lawrence, it's been a pleasure, man.
Thanks, man. Same.
Congratulations again on the win. Very great things. And I'm looking forward to watching the unification, man.
Let's go. It's coming.